What up, Suave?
You think? What up, though?
You about to ask a question?
I was about to ask you a real off-color question. Well, not even off-color. It has something to do with what we probably end up discussing on 219.
Okay, so
we're gonna skip it for now.
Yeah, well hold what you got. Make sure you mark it down, because 219 has got to be 219. We got to put us back in our bag. It's the fact that it's been this long since we've done a show is ridiculous. But as we said before, life be lifing, and we're getting back. Yeah, we're getting back where we need to be.
We're building a network of content. We're making sure that everybody's taken care of. Nobody's going without. It's just, we're having to jump through a few hoops to make sure that you eat on a regular schedule.
And we got to make sure that we stay fed in the process. Cause yeah, this is real life.
Ain't no taxes to write off if ain't no income coming in.
You dig?
You feel me? you feel me?
Where we at here? There we go. That's what we needed right there.
Zell me mine.
And on that note, what are we doing here? I
need to go ahead and design that shirt.
Yeah, you do. While you over here bullcorning.
Not bullcorning. Sometimes you just have to wait for inspiration to hit you so that you don't just throw something together.
Dig.
I've come to understand that about my creative gene and just the art in general. I can't force myself. Well, I can, but I shouldn't force myself to write, design, anything. Because if it's not organic, it's going to be forced. If it's forced, it won't be smooth. If it's not smooth, it's not me.
And
so,
as the great CL Smooth once said, if it ain't rough, it ain't right. And on that note, it's time to play a game.
Hey. You know who ain't gonna win. You know who ain't gonna win. You know who ain't gonna win. You say that bitch again. I know who ain't gonna win. You know who ain't gonna win. You know who ain't gonna win. We say that bitch again. I want 1, 2, 3. Get your said I want 1, 2, 3. Get the gone. 1, 2, 3. Get your said I want 1, 2, 3. Get the gone.
I still got it.
Good job, fantastic job. Who's this sponsored by?
Who is this sponsored by? I don't know. We haven't had a sponsor in a while, and I really don't know if anybody worthy to jump on the bandwagon right now. So
hit the old classic by no one.
By no one. Oh man. We over here about to do another edition of You Know Who Ain't Gonna Win, this time for Crown Fool, aka Crown Jewel 2023, taking place in the Kingdom of Riyadh, or Riyadh, the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. This coming Saturday, was it November 4th? Yes, November 4th.
Peep this.
Yeah.
Let me ask you a random question. Where was the Tyson Fury fight?
Wasn't that in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia?
So Vince just stayed.
He pitched in the tent and staying at the castle on behalf of the king, not even representing WWE.
He gotta be there. Him and the Undertaker were there, and bruh. Nah, I ain't even gonna get into it. That's 219. That's 219. You can't even give away no free.
Give him a preview as I'm sitting here plugging things in, making sure that the show goes according to plan.
No freebies. We stealing off in 2024, and I'm gonna start that energy right now. You get nothing for free. You get what you get,
and you don't throw a fit. So on that note, today, as we record, is Monday, October 30th. Yeah, my Lord.
Yeah, my Lord.
I said, yeah, my Lord.
Yeah, my Lord.
20 and 20. Tree.
Wiggle wig, convenient. Bring me your dinner bucket.
Let the church say.
Hey, man. You realize we only got like another 2 months of that?
About 9 weeks. And see, now it's fine time. It's about the time last year where y'all had to tease me with figuring out what the next one's gonna be. I already got it though. I already got it. Can you believe?
We gonna get in the lab and
I was like, can you believe that next year, if my math serves me correct, we start year 7?
I mean, hey, we've been out here thugging.
That's hard. And we not only are we the most consistent, but we are the longest reigning pro wrestling, hip hop infused pro wrestling podcast in the world. Craig, yes, that's commendable. That's history. Tell your folks, because like this, like we don't even talk about how special this is, but we special in that your mama said I am kind of way.
And then tell that friend again.
You know,
we need to, whatever this new one is going to be, the new intro, we got to make sure we record this. Like, we're going to get in the lab and really cook up something special.
It's going to be fine.
If it's year 7, it's lucky 7s. Like, if we finna hit the jackpot, we need to crank up. Like, we're gonna level ourselves up. For those of you who are gamers, we're gonna level up out there.
There's some things we've been talking about things, and as life happens, we'll those things will get better
Shout
for
out
us.
To the gamers.
Yeah. Oh man, don't get me started.
you dig? Look, that other controller's in other room.
Did you see the new PlayStation controller that popped up? It's like, I guess it's like a circular, like a modular control that you basically you make it yourself.
No, the one I saw was like it was a custom where you could switch fog stick and the directional button. You could actually switch them.
That's the DualSense Pro, I believe, is what you're talking about. No, there's another one that I just saw earlier this week. I'll send you that offline, but for now, let's talk about this Crown food coming up.
Then Don sent me one Scoundrel Life to the next life that was like Tree Fitty.
Oh, word?
Yeah, it's a DualSense Edge PS.
Yeah, the Edge. Yeah. That's the junk right there. That's
Tree Fitty.
Yeah, but there's another one though. That's not the one. There's another one. I have to send you that joint.
Okay.
I forgot what it's called, but it's like round, or at least the kit comes round.
Oh, I need to see that.
Yeah, it's wild.
Fantastic.
It's super wild.
One last gamer thing before we get started. You know, Xbox is about to put a ban on unauthorized controllers.
I saw that. That is the equivalent.
That is wild.
That is the equivalent of when Apple put the kibosh on people using third-party screens because they were cheaper than the ones that were coming OEM from Apple. And that lasted every bit of maybe 2 OSs. And from there, like, that it was doing wild things like before it was authorized, like turning it was washing your colors out, making it seem like you were really like no good using that gear inside your phone, inside your multi-$100 phone. Xbox doing this. Can you imagine back when what's your bag? Super NES, about when you started? That sound about right?
I have some Atari experience, but yes. Well, not even Super NES, just regular NES.
Okay. So the old neutral and red controller, you remember that, boy? Of course, you know. Yes.
Of course.
Can you imagine if the only controller you could get was a Nintendo authorized controller and you couldn't get any like turbo buttons that was not a Nintendo controller? Can you imagine?
Okay, so you know NES, it was always just one controller. There was nothing else.
No, there was a bunch of stuff.
I mean, there was a bunch of stuff, but it was all proprietary Nintendo stuff. Like there was no aftermarket controller for Nintendo, for OG Nintendo.
Okay, all right.
Unless I totally missed something.
Okay, let's bring it up to speed. Bring up to speed. And how about the PlayStation 1? That's when they really started getting prevalent with the third party joints.
Yeah.
Like if your PlayStation 1 controller went out and you could not use any other controller but a Sony controller, your gaming experience. And people were always complaining that they were cheating anyway. Hell, Master Ace, shout out to Ace. Master Ace was a Madden champion for a few years, and he went to spots regardless of the console with his own controller. We don't know if it's
a feel thing.
Yeah, it's all about the feel, and you got the buttons broken in just properly.
You know how your controllers are contoured. Sometimes
absolutely,
you know how to work with your analog buttons. A new controller, air quotes new, you don't know how new it is. You don't know what's loose. You don't know if buttons stick. You know, especially if you're professionally gaming, or even in a situation where you're just competing in a tournament.
Mm-hmm.
Bring as much of your stuff as possible.
But
you remember the arcade, it was literally a laptop controller that simulated the arcade, so you could, like, for people who played Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat,
they had the joystick with the six to 8 buttons on it, depending on which configuration you got. Yes,
bing bong, that. So if they all of a sudden said, "Well, no, this doesn't work because it's not authorized," that's
the dope thing about that controller to me was, as I'm what they call orthodox right-handed. Those controllers, most times you could turn them upside down and flip a switch and make them a left-handed controller. To me, that's fire, because that way you're being inclusive.
And you know, here at the Broken Pencil Booking Company Pro Wrestling Podcast and Radio Show Infused with Hip Hop, we're all about inclusion.
Yes, and staying classy. And on that note, Crown Fool.
This card.
Crown Fool is this coming Saturday, November the 4th. Year of our Lord.
Year of our Lord.
I say Year of our Lord.
Year of our Lord.
2023.
Amen.
Yeah. All right. The last You Know Who Ain't Gonna Win, we didn't really talk about how bad we did, but
one of the worst. We started off from the jump wrong.
To say that, but to say we the bed is probably an understatement.
I mean, even when we don't deliver the goods on the picks, we still never really do. We never go too far under 500.
Yeah, this one was it had to be our worst one. Combined and individual, it had to be our worst one.
Had to be.
Yeah, this one's
that
got.
Thing, when we were unanimous on all the picks, we were on the same page.
We were. I think we had one. I think the championship match was where we differed. And I predicted the cash in. We both predicted that.
See, that's what it was. Yeah,
and we both predicted that Shin Split was going to win, but
that's went against hope. I was hoping for a victory. I should have known better.
But what we got out of that is a killer Shin Splint, but he hasn't killed anybody yet. So
right. No, so are you truly a killer till you kill someone?
You talk about
and
it,
I mean that in the sense of executing a task, not actually unaliving someone.
Yeah. Thank you. I'm glad you clarified that, because shocking content,
right. Bruh. Every time I turn my head.
What is the trigger words? Whoever is monitoring us,
we don't need to find out right now. We can try them later.
Yeah. We just send us a list.
I'm certain Unalive is one of them. I'm certain.
Is Wrestler one? Can we not say Wrestler?
We don't work for Stanford,
but we do tag them.
We do. I mean, we tag them sometimes, and then we're cool with the social media department. Hey guys, what up?
Peace. We still guys over here. Like, we still your boys.
You know what I'm saying? It's peace and blessings. I love the work. The new graphic work is fireworks. I like it.
It's almost like you got ideas from my co-host, but I digress.
No one has ever taken anything from me creatively.
Just ideas. The essence exists is all I'm saying.
No one has ever benefited in the marketplace from anything I've had any input on. Never.
Not that you know of. And on that note.
Yeah, not that I know of. I ain't seen nothing.
let's run down this card. This is like an old school NXT card plus two bonus cuts, and on top of that,
love it.
On top of that, it's this wheelhouse. And if all things are going the way that's looking, which we'll also talk about 219 with the international flair getting picked up for a lot of these WWE shows, one of my wishes is coming true slowly but surely. The return of Saturday afternoon wrestling.
Them time zones matter, bro.
Time zones matter. I mean, hell, I ain't gonna even front. I ain't gonna even hold you. I'm gonna be up. I'm gonna be up early in the morning watching Elimination Chamber when they eliminate from Australia. I will be up watching it live.
We're gonna make a thing of it. We're gonna make a whole event of it.
Like this side of the map, we've never had that. We've never had that opportunity. Why would we miss the first one? We will be there in whatever capacity, front porch or not. We will be there. Let's run down this card. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, just in a sense, we have had that because Wrestle Kingdom, if you watch it live, it shows for us at like 5 a.m. So you got it's not quite the same. I mean, because it's only been within the last like 7 or 8 years that we've actually gotten U.S. commentary, and then even the last 3 or 4 years, those shows have been so long. Like it would ruin your day. It's an absolute exercise. Like you absolutely have to. You got to be about that life, and you have to have been watching the product leading up to it. Otherwise, you're just spectating on individual matches. You're not following anything.
Yeah, it's a workout and a half. But there's some diehards out there, and we shout out to you because we do this for y'all. But man,
facts. Facts. You motivate us to be better. Because one thing I ain't doing.
I'm not going to be consistent about getting up at 4 o'clock in the morning and watching International Dateline Pro Wrestling. You can bet your bottom dollar on that one. For the WWE Women's Championship, let's kick it off with your champion, Io Sky, taking on Bianca Belair, the EST of WWE. Suave, who ain't going to win?
Bianca Belair ain't going to win.
As much as I want to say that she's not going to, this is the ultimate get her lick back. She's back and she ain't going nowhere. I say Bianca Belair is your winner and new. Io Sky ain't gonna win. So okay. It looks like you got double graphics to do, Suave, out the gate.
Here's the thing.
Uh-oh.
The only right. What up, Unc?
Here's the thing.
The only thing that makes me feel like it could be is if Uncle Trips is gonna creatively pivot to set up Survivor Series, because it looks like there's a potential for it to be, brand versus brand again, in which case you're going to have your each show's champion face off. So what match would you rather see? Bianca versus Rhea or Io Sky versus Rhea?
Let me ask you this. Do you think that we get one or two traditional Survivor Series matches and a War Games, or do you think we get 2 War Games?
That's a great question. You have enough bodies on the roster to do a men's War Games, a women's War Games, and probably
two. You can do 2 traditional Survivor Series matches. But the War Games will be the ones that matter unless you're doing it for bragging rights, especially with Nick Aldis and Adam Pearce now helming the ship.
Which is why I was like, I had to stop myself on a women's War Games and a women's elimination match. I don't think you have a story going on that puts enough women on each team to do a women's themed War Games. So you would get War Games as your main event, and in that case, I say yes, you can get 2 marquee level Survivor Series elimination matches, Raw versus SmackDown, with male and female counterparts. Okay,
so if we did War Games, we have factions that matter. So I'm talking on the women's side. I'm really just spitballing here. So I'm thinking,
you trying to assemble a women's war games out of what we got going on?
I mean, I only have 5, like 3 on one side and 2 on another side. So I think you might be right on that. Unless we go.
I mean, there's just.
Go ahead.
I'll say you just don't have any story. Like, there's no reason to end up in war games. War games is and should be reserved for issues. Like, we've been beefing for a while.
Damage control is a whole issue. They're a whole issue, but
when's the last time you cared?
But there's
about damage control as a whole. When's the last time you cared?
There's that, number one. 2, Dakota Kai is still technically hurt. So there goes that idea. Okay. All right. So I guess this answered that question. So we'll probably get 2 Survivor Series matches and then 1 War Games, which will feature the Bloodline. All right. So we're split on EO versus the EST.
Yep.
John Cena versus Solo Sikoa. Suave ain't gonna win.
Solo ain't gonna win.
Solo ain't gonna win for a number of reasons. 1, he really ain't won anything that matters since he's been on the main roster. 2, this winning streak or this losing streak for John Cena. You can't have John Cena go to Saudi Arabia and know he ain't gonna win. Are you kidding me?
Once Cena made the losing streak public, you knew the next person he got in the ring with was going to be the victor. I was under the impression that if you stretch this out properly, you could have got Cena versus Solo at WrestleMania 40, and I would have put Solo over. Even in this situation, I can make a case for Solo to go over, but I don't think it's his day.
Yeah,
I just don't think it's his day.
Yeah, sorry, Solo. Like, maybe you could be the saving grace of the War Games match, but I got a bad feeling about that one for you too, partner.
maybe Uncle Trips will shock us and say we finna put the rocket on Solo, and you go ahead and put him over Cena, because I mean Cena's bulletproof for 1, and 2, you can always come back and do this again.
Especially with because Saudi is it's not necessarily bizarro world, but you know the traditional 1-2 that goes on backstage ain't happening in Saudi.
I mean, but do we really know that now with the whole restructuring? Because before it was, the formula's always been the same. Saudi buys the groceries, Stanford cooks the meal. It's different chefs in the kitchen. Like, the kitchen is under new management.
There's whole new ingredients in the cabinet.
Now, this crown jewel, more than any other, is interesting because now you're going to be able to see, we're going to be able to prove our theory. Is it the situation where we're just trying to send everyone home happy, or are we going to start going to crown jewel and start being disruptor?
Well, a 7-match card is a hell of a start for a change, because versus the normal 10 or 11 match card that we're used to seeing. Like, before the end of the show, I'll go back and look at the previous cards, kind of do a comparison. But this card seems one of those like a situation where less is more, and we're still going to get 3 hours out of it because that's why. Cody Rhodes versus Damian Priest. Suave ain't gonna win.
Damian Priest ain't gonna win.
Damian Priest ain't gonna win, and if he's not winning, something I keep sticking my foot in my mouth with this. It's gonna.
Cody's shoulders ain't touched the mat since WrestleMania.
That's for 1. 2, it ain't gonna happen in Saudi. 3, Damian Priest is still bulletproof because he has that briefcase.
Facts.
And on to
now, let's not get happy about beating him, but in this particular situation, first pause. Second, Cody is someone who is on a certain trajectory. We know Damian Priest has a panic button. If anything starts to get too far out of pocket, push the button, cash the briefcase in.
Yep.
But Cody losing here takes steam off of the whole finisher story. That's his whole narrative. From now until whenever he actually does get to finish the story, that's it. So you probably won't see him lose often unless it's to somebody with some smoke.
This is intern work right here. We need to know how many times a Money in the Bank contract holder lost a match the same day of a cash in. The first one that comes to mind is Seth.
Right.
At 32. That's right. Was it 30? No, 30. 30. Was it 31?
31.
Yeah. That's the first one that comes to mind, but I'm sure it's happened before then too. It's probably happened after then.
That's something we can go do research on like, yeah.
Yeah, that's a good topic. Yeah.
This is how we do it.
All right. No Montel Jordan. All right. Next up, for the United States Championship, a match that was called out after a professional boxing match. Champion Rey Mysterio taking on the challenger Logan Paul. Suave, who ain't gonna win?
Light on professional. Light on professional.
By professional, I mean paid to do.
Okay, by that definition, hit the bell.
It had a sold out crowd in Dallas. You gotta love it.
I just need to let the viewers know these people here are entertainment hungry. It doesn't matter what it is. If you put it in Jerry World, there's very, very high probability that you're going to sell tickets for it.
Whatever it is.
Whatever it may be. Monster Truck Rally.
I was just about to say Sunday.
Exactly. Concert. It's flag football tournaments go on in there. Look,
it could be the Girl Scouts versus the Boy Scouts in the winner take all cookie selling competition.
They mess around, shoot more. You put it up on the screen.
Oh man, I remember my only time ever in that stadium. I was performing. Shout out to J Rhodes. I was backing up J Rhodes and opening up for Brandon Max, which is the late great Sean Price and Guilty Simpson without Black Milk there. And we were there for what was that? What was the sneaker? Kickspo. That's what it was. Kickspo.
I was there.
And there was probably in and out that day 20,000 people, and it looked like ants at a picnic in an open field because of how much room is inside that building, and nobody was up in the stands.
Bro, absolutely.
Everybody was on the field.
You can't officially put too many people on that field and get it congested. Like, there's just too much space. It's
a far different atmosphere than being up in the stands, being elbows to buttholes.
And the stands are comfortable, quiet as kept.
Yeah, for a capacity of 110 SRO. Yeah, definitely.
This is before you get into the suites and the different club areas and the club levels. Like, just sitting in the stands watching the game, it's as comfortable as being at home. It's just the parking is, like
horrendous. And ride share is even worse than the parking. Like, you might as well plan a post tailgate if you go park in that parking lot. I digress.
Pick your battles. That's what you do.
There it is.
Pick your battles and make sure you tell a friend.
All right. Speaking of tell a friend, tell this friend who ain't gonna win. Rey Mysterio versus Logan Paul.
I am torn on this. I'm gonna say Rey Mysterio ain't gonna win.
You know what's wild? I'm actually with you. Rey Mysterio ain't gonna win, and I think this is when Santos turns on Rey. I think this is when we see the implosion of the LWO.
If it's coming, you might as well go ahead and do it. If it's coming, then handle it.
Otherwise, let's rationalize this, Suave. One of these things is not like the other. Of the LWO, who is not like the other?
Rey's the odd man.
Rey is the odd man out.
He's supposed to be the odd man. He's the elder statesman. That's why I'm like, just let this be what it's gonna be. Let it work. Let it filthy animals itself out. Like, just
because LDF.
Because I know what happened after the turn. They're just gonna water Santos down. It's not gonna mean anything. You're not creating a main event heel out of this.
You had LDF like at a stall over the airport, like a perpetual stall over the airport, and then boom, you give them shirts. Now they're the LWO, and not the LWO that Eddie had in mind either. But they're still LWO regardless.
You're hawking merchandise. That's it.
That's it.
We're hawking nostalgia merchandise. Somebody had to sell these shirts.
A bunch of dead stock getting worked with a new badge attached to the bottom of the front of the shirt.
Tell you how petty Stanford is. If you happen to be from anywhere close to Mexico and you can speak English, you can get some money. You can. Now, if you don't speak the language, they will cast you away. But if you can speak it, get the bag.
Fatal 5-way for the Women's World Championship. Your champion, Mommy Rhea Ripley, taking on Nia Jax, Shayna Baszler, Zoe Stark, and Raquel Rodriguez. Suave, who ain't gonna win?
Anybody not named Rhea Ripley. We ain't coming for none of the other foolishness. I don't need no cute title changes. We out here getting money. We setting up main event programs. We working our way to Survivor Series, and then trying to figure out who gonna put on another 5-star classic with Rhea when it come time for WrestleMania.
It's bad
to be building up her opponent now.
It's bad enough that everybody in this match, with the exception of Nia Jax, is used to being a little light in the clothing area, and you're gonna have to be fully dressed for this event. Not that it's a bad thing.
See through for this.
Not that it's a bad thing, because they actually look better in with the gear they have in Saudi. The issue is
Facts.
It's going to be hot in that ring. That is a lot of women in that ring to not have a temperature increase because you're wearing more and actually have more people than what you're used to inside the ring. That will play a factor. I also say I'm with you. Anybody not named Rhea Ripley, you're out of here.
There should be a lot of tech dry fit and lycra. We should be able to be well ventilated. I think they got this under control.
Get some black mesh popping off. You know what I'm saying? Underneath some wicking material.
You need moisture wicking material, but you can't do mesh. Anything where you can see skin, flesh tone colors underneath, that's a no.
Oh no, I'm talking about for the moisture wicking underneath. Yes, but not on the top.
You need a scuba suit. You need a scuba suit, my boy.
Yeah, man. With
a hoodie.
For the WWE Participation World Heavyweight Championship, your champion Seth Rollins taking on Drew McIntyre. Suave, who ain't gonna win?
At this point, I'm convinced that they're not going to beat Seth.
I'm not.
I am.
Here's what I think.
Okay.
You're putting a lot of stock into a Drew McIntyre build. And I don't know if it's a soft reboot or a deviation from what we've been seeing. But something tells me that Drew wins, but he doesn't leave Saudi with the title.
I have officially come to the decision that Damian Priest is not cashing in on the World Heavyweight Champion. His attempt will not be against the World Heavyweight Champion.
So that's before you give me your theory on that. Let's go ahead and go into our main event. I don't care if it's the main event on the card or not. This is your daily acknowledgement. Your tribal chief, head of the table, and WWE Grand Champion Roman Reigns, along with the God MC Paul Heyman, taking on L.A. Knight. Yeah. Suave, who ain't gonna win?
L.A. Knight.
L.A. Knight ain't gonna win. Sorry, dog. It ain't for
I'm
you
not
right now.
I'm not gonna be long-winded about that. This is a test. This is a litmus test to see if LA Knight can hold his water in a main event situation. His day will come. It just ain't.
It ain't Saturday. And you know, people can say what they want to. Roman Reigns in 2023 is good. Try Terry, 1985 to 1988. Prove me wrong.
Schedule-wise, appearance-wise, it's pretty fair.
Schedule-wise, appearance-wise, defense-wise. And even though wrestling wasn't on live every week, we only got a defense on TV maybe once every 2 to 3 months. Maybe.
And again, going back to this whole, the World Heavyweight Championship was made so it will be defended more. At this point, we're only a 2-match difference, and that's because Roman took a sabbatical and Seth defended 2 straight pay-per-views against Shinsuke.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, we would have the exact same number of title defenses for the year. So that whole he's not a fighting champion, you got to be careful when you start saying that, because once you look at the data and the analytics and the stats, it's like, oh.
I never said he wasn't.
Nobody fighting.
I never said he wasn't a fighting champion.
But that's the internet scuttlebutt. You know how that go.
I mean, Roman Reigns is far from being Brock Lesnar. Like he's already doubled Brock Lesnar's best year in the last 10. If you want to keep it all the way 1,000.
I mean, you know.
I mean, just because SmackDown has a season premiere doesn't mean that you have to bring him out in Tulsa. Not that I have anything against Tulsa, my fair hometown, but
it is an opportunity for everyone else on the card who claims they want that spot to step up and get hot. LA Knight has done so.
And
so if you've been out of shape about him not being there or whatever the case may be, when he's not there, shine. From my head down to my shoes, shine. Skirt on 22s. shout out to Manny.
Man, LA Knight was known for one thing this calendar year prior to WrestleMania's Battle Royal that got him in the was it best WrestleMania or was it SummerSlam where he was like the Slim Jim spokesperson?
Yeah, that wasn't until Survivor Series.
SummerSlam.
I mean, not Survivor Series. SummerSlam.
Okay. So prior to SummerSlam, LA Knight was known for one thing, and that was being Bray Wyatt's last opponent. And somehow between then and the Battle Royal, he turned up the heat on himself, and he has himself in a position to where people are like, when people hate you for where you are, you know you've done something good with yourself. And he's in that position right now. Problem is, he ain't hot enough to where he can knock off the Tribal Chief. Because I hate to use him as an example. Look what happened to Kofi. Kofi knocks off the champion, takes the belt, and has one of the most lukewarm title reigns we have ever seen. And the takeaway.
Now tell me why you call his title reign lukewarm.
It was like,
because Buddy's match quality was
no. I will never take away Kofi. In the almost 20 years we have been watching Kofi Kingston, I have never seen him have a bad match ever. He's done some questionable things in Royal Rumbles. Some would call them botches, but it's the Royal Rumble when you're trying to.
That might only happen to him like
twice. He had to slip off.
How many?
But thank you. That's my point. Like his batting average is through the roof. Not everybody can say that, but it's the allure that, like, the money's in the chase, right? So when the chase is over, what are you really there for? So the reception, not to say that the match quality, the reception was lukewarm. Like he got the post WrestleMania pop, but like What about was it Judgment Day, which is the first pay-per-view after WrestleMania back then?
Well, they didn't give him I'll be honest, they didn't give him a story. Like they didn't give him any creative to work with afterwards. Like the next night, you teased a unification, and who was it against? Seth?
Was it?
Wasn't it Seth at the time? I feel like it was. It was whoever it was. They were flirting with the idea of unification. If you had gone with a story like that, okay, maybe the title reign's different. But he didn't have a real issue through the whole thing until he got to Randy Orton, which was right at the end. It was just like, okay, this is this month's title defense. Build to the match, have a great match, wash, rinse, repeat. There's no real issue. It's just a person saying, I want a title shot. He's gonna accept, and then we're gonna have a match in 3 weeks.
Right.
So that, I think that hurt the reign, but you know. Then SmackDown happened.
Right. Now, that said, and that out the way, your theory about Damian Priest.
It just goes off of the current interaction between Judgment Day and the Bloodline. So if it's understood that there's an alliance and this, that, and the other, I think it's a better card to play.
It is.
Especially given the idea that, okay, assume, let's say, War Games. And we know the Bloodline now, as comprised, is not, there are not enough teammates to fill out a Survivor Series team. So let's say
you're going to bring in some blood. Ooh.
So you get Roman, you get Jimmy, you get Solo, Finn,
and Priest
against what's going to be Cody, Sammy, Kevin, Jay, and who's the fifth? Cena.
You think? In War Games? Nah.
What other team you gonna assemble? If it's a War Games match and you know the Bloodline is one half of that, who you gonna put them in there with? That's who they've had personal issues with for the last year and a half.
Let's. War Games has always been known as the match beyond, and the only thing making this short of being the old school War Games is not having a roof on the damn cage. That is a dangerous match. You really think John Cena would risk his bag in War Games, considering Rock had a tear in a regular match against him?
If Cena comes in last, bats cleanup, we're not looking at the whole bunch. He gonna sell a couple moves, sit in the corner, hit an FU or AA or however we're gonna call it this week, and we're going to the house.
You ain't gonna like it, but LA Knight's going in War Games.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, we're not gonna see Cena in War Games.
Okay. If Cena is still available to be booked, and you have all of your top talent involved in War Games, what do you do with Cena?
Hell, have him host the event?
No, if this was him coming back for the first time, sure. But he's back having matches. So if he's wrestling Crown Jewel, there's no reason for him not to wrestle Survivor Series. And we are trying to sell tickets.
You're absolutely right. Where is Survivor Series this year?
Chicago.
Yeah, that's right.
That's
right. Oh, that's a good place for Cena to perform too.
Cause we waiting. It might be clobbering time.
It very well could be. We don't know. Will it be that day? We don't know.
We don't know.
We don't know.
Which is why I'm trying to figure out, bro, what do you do with Cena? Put him in War Games.
Well, that's more ammo for 219. So if you got any information, any ideas for us to mull over as it relates to Crown Jewel and or Survivor Series, hit up Gang Green. Show up BrokenPencilBC.com, BrokenPencilBC@gmail.com. That's at BrokenPencilBC on all things social, at BrokenPencilBC on what?
Everything.
And let me run down the card real quick again. So EO versus EST, we're split on that one. Cena versus Solo, we both got Solo losing. Priest versus Cody, we both got Priest losing. Ray versus Logan Paul, we're split on that one. Actually, no. Did you say Logan Paul was going? Ray wasn't going to win?
I did.
Okay, so we're both on the same page on that one. Rhea, we don't even want to talk about that. We already know what's up with that one. Drew versus Seth. I got Seth losing, and you got Drew losing. And then Chief versus LA Knight. Of course, LA Knight going home, empty-handed. That is.
I'm interested to see if Drew decides to join the Judgment Day. I am interested in that.
Do you think?
I kind of like it.
Do you think? And we can take it to the house after this. Do you think Drew gets a ticket to punch to Judgment Day before JD McDonough?
I mean, if you were drafting, who would you pick first?
That goes without question.
You do not like music.
I did.
Like if I must.
Right.
And on that note,
that's all I'm saying.
Yeah, we'll see you at 219. Swap tickets to the house.
Pencil pushers. Like, rate, subscribe, share, comment, tell a friend, tell that friend to tell a friend, and then tell that friend again. Heads up, pencils down.
Yes, sir.